Hey, I'm John Tabler. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of the best, most effective, quickest, simplest, and really great tasting probiotic drinks that you can actually have. And you can't buy it anywhere. There's not really a lot of places to get probiotics for your body, for your health. And why do you even want to have probiotics? Well, they're one of the only substances that actually cleanses your body, can actually wipe out chemicals, detox heavy metals, and keep your immune system at top performance level so you stay well. And if you can incorporate that into your diet, you really gain all of those benefits. But it's near impossible to get probiotics anywhere. You can't go to the grocery store. It used to be that pickles, cheese, wine, and so many items in the grocery store were probiotic. They were preserved through fermentation, and it's no longer like that. A pickle was originally a fermented cucumber, and now it's an imitation fermented cucumber. They just put it in vinegar with salt. It tastes similar, but it's nothing the same. Now you can go to some health food markets and go to the cooler section and find real sauerkraut or real fermented pickles, but they're few and far between. And so it's become nearly impossible to get living probiotics put into your diet. The pills and things like that you buy, those are really imitations also, because they're not in the form of the actual active bacteria at the time, which is lactic acid bacteria. And so I'm going to show you how to make a drink that you can incorporate into your diet a couple times a day. You'll really like it. It'll taste kind of similar to lemonade when it gets done. When you grind wheat and you make a starter for sourdough bread, that starter is a complete probiotic, broad spectrum, full spectrum probiotic that if you can incorporate into your diet, sure, you can eat it. But there's a drink in Russia from times of old called kvass, and that's when they would ferment grains, and then what they would do in water, they would strain off the grains and then drink the water. Well, this is going to be kind of a roundabout way of doing that. So what we do is we take ground flour. Now I grind my wheat, whole wheat, and put flour in the bowl, in a cup, and add water. And this is how you make starter, and you let it sit for a few days, and then you add a little bit more. Or actually, you let it sit for about a day and a half, and then you add about that much more flour and a little bit of water, stir it up, let it sit another day, day and a half, then do it a third time. You're going to see it start to bubble, and that's going to be your activated starter or your probiotic starter. And then what you want to do is, once you have it, you can make bread, or what you can do is make this drink. So I'm going to take and put 3 heaping. It's bigger than tablespoons, but these are big tablespoons. But I'm going to put about 3 of them in there, and it uses up a fair bit of that. You just replenish it. I'll show you how to do that in a second. I like to get it all over my finger and make a big mess. So once you have that, and I'll set the spoon down and make a mess. Once you have that, what you want to do is put purified water in it. So I'm going to do that. I have a reverse osmosis system. I'm going to wash my finger off and then fill that cup up about halfway. Then I'm going to stir it. Now we've got that completely mixed into the water, and you could drink that right now, but I use whole wheat. You want to use whole wheat. The bran has a lot of vitamins in it, and if you're going to use white flour or anything like that, that's basically a non-food. Don't do that. You want the vitamins too, but it is fermented, and just the same, you'll have the lactic acid bacteria. So since I use whole wheat flour, I have bran in there, which is gritty. And so what I want to do is take a cheesecloth, and I'm going to strain out all the bran by pouring that into another glass. And you can see now that that bran is coming up. I really don't want to clog my cheesecloth, so once I get to the bottom, I'm just going to leave that in the cup. Then you can see what's happening here. We're just straining it into the cup. You can help it along a little bit. But really what it becomes is almost like wheat milk. You know, they have these almond milks and things like that in the store, but if you look at the ingredients, they're not good. They have oils in there that aren't good for you, and most any of it's not good, and it's not fermented or anything like that. But this is actually like wheat milk. And so once it gets done with that, then what you do is you just take, and I want to show you this real quick. I'm going to make a mess. Normally I wouldn't make a mess. I'd just go over the sink. But you can see how that filtered out all the bran. And so what I do is then go to the sink, turn it over, rinse the cheesecloth out from the backside where it just all completely falls into the sink. Then I give it a good pass of the clean water instead of the chlorine water, squeeze it out, and then you can just hang it up on the top of one of your cupboards or a cupboard knob on one of the cupboard doors. And that'll dry out and be ready for the next time. And we'll set this aside. I'm doing pretty well, not way too big of a mess. But there you have it. And that is one of the best probiotic drinks, but it's missing one thing. It tastes like lemonade before you put any sweetener in it. So what I do is find some raw honey. You want raw honey, you don't want heated honey. Heated honey is like pasteurized milk for that matter. I mean, a lot of the health benefits are gone. So I've told you in times past that I order honey from a place on the West Coast, and I don't have any sort of business relationship or anything with them, but like I love the honey because it's really, really raw. The designation of raw on honeys can be completely not what you think it is at all, because there's really no regulation. So they actually will heat it up to 120 degrees so it pours, and that's really not really raw anymore. This says cold packed honey, unheated and raw, and this is sage, and then there's coastal wildflower, and there's orange blossom honey. I love it, but this one's pretty easy to get. This is raw honey. They have this at Walmart, and it'll still have the comb in it. And so what you do is you can get a spoon and measure it 1 or 2 tablespoons. You want to sweeten it to your own taste. It's like lemonade, but I just give it some squirts around into the bottom. Be about 1, 2 teaspoons, 1.5 tablespoons, and stir it. And let me tell you something. This drink isn't something you have to force down. This is something you're really, really going to like. This is lemonade, but it's like probiotic lemonade. It's fantastic. Then, what I found that you can do is take a few ice cubes. Some of the water melted off of those, so I'm going to get that in there. And there you go. And so at that point, what you do is you don't want to keep talking, you want to try it. It's fantastic. You're not going to have any problem wanting to drink that regularly. It's like having a glass of lemonade, but it's one of the best probiotic drinks that you can have. It's an easy way to make what is essentially kvass, which is a fermented grain, or honey wheat milk, fermented honey wheat milk. So that's really what I would call it. But if you try this and you see the results that you get from it on a regular basis, and just know that you're getting one of the best probiotic supplements that you can have, you're really going to like that. Why no one's doing it? I don't know. I know I am, and now you are. And I want to hear what your comments, what you think about this. And normally, I wouldn't keep drinking this while I'm filming, but it's extremely good. You definitely want to try this one. You'll make it a regular thing, and I know you're going to like it. Hit like and subscribe down below. Let me hear what you think about that. I know you're going to like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, another thing that you need to know is that gluten, which is in wheat flour, is in many other types of grains, is a gummy substance like chewing gum that's actually in the kernels. And when you throw a handful of kernels into your mouth and you start chewing on it, it'll actually turn to chewing gum. You can do a search on farmer's gum, and that's what farmer's gum was, but that's also what the gluten is. And just like you weren't supposed to swallow your chewing gum when you were young because it'd be hard to digest, it's the same thing for that, and that's why a lot of people have problems with it. The fermentation process completely wipes it out. Now, I can't say it gets rid of 100% of it, but basically it has the enzymes and everything in there to make gluten really not a problem. You can do some research on that, but just know that. And so when you make this drink, it's a gut healing thing. It's not going to give you problems. Try a small amount if you have any concerns about it, but really that's one of the properties of fermentation, is that it completely wipes gluten out. So when I get done taking that out and putting it in the cup, I'm going to want some more, and if I want some more tonight, just all I do is go to my flour supply, and this is my grinder, and I put a couple or 3 heaping spoonfuls in, probably about that much, and then purified water, no chlorine. Add some, stir it. Don't stir it so hard you get it go all over you, and that's still a little thick, but it'll be fine like that. I just want to get water into all of it, get it all hydrated, so you want to use enough. And once you get that done, you're good to go. In about 6 hours, that will swell up about that much more, be completely fermented. You can use it again, have some morning and night. I just cover it with a piece of plastic, seal it, set it aside, and there you have it. That's a way that you keep your probiotics going all the time, and they're actually completely fresh and active, and that's it. So I know you're going to like this.